Hello, and I am here to talk to you today about STEM and the benefits of STEM in early childhood education. Um, as many of us know, STEM stands for science, technology, and engineering and mathematics, which should already be incorporated in the children's education. However, as we progress in society, we do tend to see more of a demand for children, not for children, but for children to start learning and engaging in that concept of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. This allowed children to begin to learn and retain a knowledge base that they can build on as they get older. Um, One of the things is with STEM, we are very well aware that STEM does help with the critical thinking and problem solving in a child's education development. Some of the things that STEM might lack um, for a family, or the concerns a family might have, is the lack of time. The lack of time that parents have at home to dedicate to their children, and how can they support that with the teacher um, for their child to be successful and be able to get that portion uh, of knowledge from their parents at home. Another concept that parents could find a little uh, difficult about STEM is, does the school have enough funding? Is the school being provided with the proper funds to be able to give these resources to the children and the parents? That's one thing that the education system has a lot of funds for. And if you as a parent, or if us as educators, we tend to show the need and the demand for STEM, those fundings will be available for the children. When it comes to lack of time at home, parents could always carve out a 10-15 minutes. Critical thinking could just happen from the pickup of school to home, or the drop off from home to school. Those probing questions parents could ask, critical think, well, what do you think it's going to happen next? That's how we could start getting the children involved within the STEM field. STEM is very important and uh, encourages love to learning, because when you're not given a ditto and just being told this is what you're doing, but given the opportunity to navigate um, the critical thinking of the child, it gives the child that opportunity to be able to thrive. It also promotes analytical thinking skills. As we know, it is analytical thinking comes with problem solving. And when children are given that opportunity to kind of think outside the box and be able to state what they think it's coming, or what's going to happen next, or why this happens, children tend to be a little bit more independent in that thinking stage. Something we could do at home, it's provide hands-on activity, not only at home, but in the classroom, provide hands-on activities, allowing children to manipulate. I know in my classroom setting, we do have like a scale, and they have little bears that they put on top of the scale. And if they put 3 in one and 2 on the other one, but one of the bears, it's bigger on the 3, or one of the bears is bigger on the 2, the 3 kind of weighs less. Asking the child, why do you think this one weighs more? What makes it think? What makes you think that? Just having those probing questions after they're done with an activity or during an activity will help the child think better. Thinking outside the box, just allowing the child to navigate with whatever there is in the classroom setting, and allowing them to explore their imagination. A lot of the times, as early educators, we do tend to know that play is the best way of learning, but of course, it comes with that with those probing questions and making sure that we're having that communication with the child. In our program, we know that as class, where we know how the conversations are going amongst the child to the adult. As a parent or guardian, one is able to provide those probing questions at home and be able to give the child the room to answer the questions without being given the answer. So sometimes we as parents tend to do just give them the answers because we don't want to hear what they have to say. Not that we don't want to hear, it's just our lack of time. We don't have the time to probe those questions. So it's easier just to shut out the answer. But we're not doing any justice to our child if we don't allow them to express their mind. Another thing that we could do with children at home is giving them an opportunity to help us with hands-on activities at home, such as like cooking, because we are mixing ingredients when we do cook, and just asking the child, what do you think it's going to happen? Those probing questions. Cooking, it's a good example. Another one is laundry, dividing the clothes and asking them to separate the clothes. We could always probe the question of what do you think will happen if you mix white clothes with the red clothes, or what do you think it's going to happen if you mix the black and the white? Of course, lighter colors and the darker colors are always separated, and that's one way we could teach the children at home. And of course, it's very inexpensive, as well as the child tends to help us with the chores. Another thing is just a simple recycling using your trash can bins, probing questions of, you have a green trash can for the leaves, a blue one for recycling, and gray for your regular landfill waste. And of course, those probing questions come along like, what would happen if we were to, throw um, trash in the green? What's going to happen? How is that recycled? And so on. There is many possibilities at home to start teaching STEM and to be able to provide that information to our children and give them that opportunity for growth.